Hey folks, what a good day, huh? All right, so recently I posted on LinkedIn about a need I had. I was just being open, honest, and vulnerable and needed some help getting some just temporary work or whatever, just filling in the gaps, that sort of thing. And the results were not like immediate, like that day. 1-2 days later, the results have been phenomenal. So I wanted to share with you my top 5 of what went right. I'm just going to break this down. So number 1, be specific. In other words, tell people exactly what you're after. In other words, don't say things like, I'm just looking for work. I'm open to work. Yeah, okay. That doesn't help me help you at all. So be specific about what you want. Tip number 2. No, seriously, be really specific. Really specific. So in other words, if you are looking for working in a different technology, great. Tell me exactly what you want to be doing there. And you don't have to give me a job title. Don't worry about that. Just tell me what you want to be doing and when you want to be doing it and where you want to be doing it. Okay? So let me give you an example of this. I could have said on LinkedIn, hey, if anybody knows of any jobs that are open, let me know. Assuming that they know everything about me and everything that I was looking for. Obviously, I'm looking for work, right? Okay, so yeah, let's get DJ a job. Yeah, I'm sure they're more than willing to do that. That would go great. How many of you would just say, oh, yeah, I'll find DJ something? Yeah. No, you'll say it. You'll say, oh, yeah, I'll keep my eyes open. Yeah, that won't work. So what I did was I said, hey, I'm looking for 2 months worth of time that I have an opening for. I didn't say I'm looking for work. What I said was I have an opening. In other words, I have availability. If anybody needs me for the following, and I gave a list of things that were really there for that I could fulfill. Contracting work, doing things like consulting, doing things like coaching for your teams. And I listed out the kind of things that I was looking for that are good for me to fill in the gaps over 2 months to make some cash. That leads me to number 4. Tip number 3. Tip number 3. All right, so this one is to be vulnerable, okay? And this is hard on LinkedIn because we've recently had this like wave of people saying, oh, don't share your personal life, don't share your feelings, whatever on LinkedIn. Yeah, whatever. Look, this is your network. These are your people. If they're not your people, don't let them follow you. Get them away from you. That's actually better to do that. It's better to have people that are good followers. In fact, I'm going to be doing a culling of my network soon, just to make sure that the numbers that I have are exactly the kind of people that will be highly engaged with me. If they're not highly engaged with me, if they're not really doing anything other than just liking my posts, that sort of thing, or if they're just not seeing anything at all, it's probably time for them to go. And so I'm looking at that too. But anyway, so wow, that was like a sub tip. Having that finely tuned audience is great, but if they're not people that you can be vulnerable with, then yeah, you're not really gaining anything. But if you can connect your network with a story and say, look, I have some needs here that I want to fill, whether it be my cats are starving, poor kitties, whatever it is, you don't have to give a sob story. But you can say that you have a need and be vulnerable about it and just let people know that it's okay, I'm okay, whatever level it is for you, just let people know, okay? So tip number 4, and I'm sure this time, tip number 4, invite people to share. This is something we don't always get through our heads. We just assume that people are going to share things, or maybe sometimes we don't want it to be shared, and we just didn't want to let our network know. Here's the thing, and I want to tell you why my post saying I had openings worked, and it was because I invited people at the end of this to share with their network, to put this out there. And so what happened is people did what I had invited them to do. And that was actually how I reconnected with a person that was looking for some work that was a pretty good fit. And so that fills my time. It fills the gap, right? That's exactly what I was looking for. Nothing huge, nothing life-changing, but it fills the gap pretty well. So why not? And so I didn't even know who it was. I haven't been able to figure that out. So whoever you were, thank you very much. I appreciate you. And the other thing that I want to do about this too is don't be afraid. And this is, tip number 5 is remind people and thank them. And so reminding is something we don't always do well. When it comes to LinkedIn, you're fighting an algorithm. Now, granted, I actually think that LinkedIn has a pretty decent algorithm. Remind people, whether that be just reposting to your feed, or specifically calling it out in a repost, or you can even just make a new post again, so it recycles that. And people will say things like adding hashtags and things like that. And the other part of this is to remember to say thank you, like I did in my post and like I'm doing right now. I'm saying thank you to all of you who were helpful in this, knowing that I'm going to be able to do it for them. In fact, I already have. I'm happy to do it. That's the other thing about this. Maybe that's tip number 6. Remember that people are happy to help you. This is not something where you're a burden to them. It's not like you're asking them to go canvass the streets and go look for a job or look for whatever. That's not the way this works. I'm going to come back to something real quick because I think this is important, and I forgot to put it in tip number 2 of being really specific. There's another reason for that I failed to mention, and that is that when people are sharing and when people are saying things like this, they can include observations about you that are specific to what you're looking for. And they wouldn't be able to do that if you weren't really specific about what you're looking for. And further, what you want them to be able to do is not just to share it and forget it. Really what you want is when people hear about an opportunity that fits you, they are going to do it. And that's what being specific is really good for. So to reiterate that one more time, and maybe that's tip number 7, be really specific, because people will be more attentive to that. And so they'll say, oh, somebody has a contract work and they need this specific skill set and they need it right now. Wait, wasn't DJ available right now? Did you see DJ's post? Yeah, this is the other thing. Then this is a tip not for the person posting, but for all of you out there. Do not assume that other people have seen what you have seen. I owe that to that person, whoever it was, because honestly, that's a really great point to remember, is that don't assume that somebody has seen a email, has seen a post, whatever. That's just not a safe assumption. So keep these tips in mind when you're posting things on LinkedIn, and I can almost guarantee you will get much better results. And if you have any questions, feel free to contact me. Stay blessed by the best.